what do you think? I mean, there's so many things going on right now, Greg. I mean, everything is chaos right now.
Mhm.
And we saw what happened with silver and gold getting smashed down. The stock market's getting smashed down. Inflation, the price of everything. Uh, we've got wars, actual real wars going on around the world. And we have China getting shut down and other places around the world having COVID breakouts. There's some report now about South Africa getting this new deadly variant that nobody's talking about yet that supposedly is.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Bill Gates is now warning people. I told you, here it comes.
Of course, it's Bill Gates.
Right. So
not a fan of that guy.
No, well, he's shown his true colors. So you and I have been in this silver community for a long time. Mm-hmm. And part of the premise of what we've done is we've invested in silver and gold because we looked at it as a way to transition to the next paradigm, right? In a way to protect our wealth.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so we've been, I won't say we've been wrong, but it hasn't fallen apart like a lot of people have talked about over the years. Now, are we going to see something extreme, or is it just going to, because right now, Russia and China, they are variables that are in opposition of the US government, which has basically had carte blanche over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, what's on the top of your head about, do you just focus on just the trade at hand, or do you think about any of this stuff?
I mean, I have to actually turn my brain off, or actively do things to shut my brain off. Otherwise, I'll think about this stuff all the time. And I think of things from a very high level. I'm not very good with the minutia, but I see one of the things that I'm really good at is I see trends that other people don't see. Now, first question there was gold and silver. So I was wondering if you were asking me about that. I think, is that what you wanted to start there with gold and silver?
Well, buddy, there's so many things we can talk about. I'm just going to let you choose what you want to talk about in terms of, but I want to, before we end this, I want to transition into how can the average person protect themselves? Or
yeah, okay. I'll answer it with that. So to answer that question right away, Warren Buffett is famous for saying, you buy things when there's blood in the streets. You don't buy things when it's at all-time record highs and people are falling all over each other to try to get at it, right? Which is what we're seeing in housing. So gold and silver are not bubbles. Silver, for whatever reason, whether it's manipulation, which is an entire organization called GATA that spends all of their waking moments to show you the manipulation, right? We've seen the likes of major banks like JP Morgan pay out, I think were they up $900 million in fines just last year for manipulating the price of gold and silver. So the real question, I think, with gold and silver is, do you want to own something that is clearly below market value? Or do you want to jump into a game like everybody else leading up to November with the stock market, and then it eventually rolls over? Now, a lot of people will say gold and silver don't move. And sometimes, I kind of joke about it. But if you go back to the 70s, when the United States embarked on our current path, which was severing the gold link, and we became full fiat, gold during that time went from like 35 up to 800 and something. It was like a 25 times move. And I wasn't around. I wasn't born then, but I did get into silver when it made a 10x move from early 2000, the dot-com bust, when we were printing tons of money and then lowered interest rates. It went up about 10 times, up till it went from like 200 and something up to about 2000. Which we're approaching again. So I believe, because things are more out of whack today than they were in the 70s, and I don't know when it's going to happen. It might be the very last thing that moves. Gold will probably move somewhere between 10 and 25 times. And I think that that's a conservative estimate to throw that out there. Because even just since 2000, our economy, I would go to bat saying, is much worse than it was in the 2000s. So if you're listening to me and you're like, oh, all this guy does talk about gold and silver, I got on the silver train in 2006. I believe that you need to own real things. If you don't want to own gold and silver because you believe the Fed and it's a barbarous relic, then don't buy gold and silver. You can buy the likes of Bitcoin, which people also think is silly. That is the best returning asset in human history. My brother and I got on that train very, very early because we understand fiat and we understand history and how this stuff works. And if you don't want to do either of those, invest in yourself.
Would you
invest in
layer
yourself.
Yeah, would you layer into Bitcoin as it drops? If it drops down to like 35, buy a piece.
Yes. Yeah.
30,
so
buy a piece.
So I sold my Bitcoin at 47K and I got in around 800. I bought gold with it around 1820. And I'm expecting Bitcoin to come under more pressure with the overall market. And I would like to buy some of that back. And I have miners that I run constantly. So to me, it's free cryptocurrency. But if we get away from currencies, one of the best things you can do in this environment is invest in yourself. And if you think that's a cop out, invest in anything real. When I say invest in yourself, invest in your skills that might be able to produce a business moving forward. Maybe go buy a business. You don't have to buy gold and silver.
Well, how about learning how to manage your money? How many people know how to do that?
Yeah, invest in yourself, right? And increase your financial IQ. If this is like the first time you've ever listened to someone talking about finance, go buy Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He'll change your mindset into becoming more of an entrepreneur. So if you go back through human history, governments will always try to scare the crap out of you with whatever's going on, because fear lowers your cognitive abilities. You're then more pliable and they can make you do what they want you to do. If you invest in yourself and your confidence in yourself increases throughout human history, no matter what type of chaos is going on, there's always opportunity. And if you don't think that you're smart enough to do it, you join a group like ours and talk to other intelligent people. Maybe you guys, maybe 2 people in our group. I mean, Dave, you could do it with some other people. Get together, start your own business or something. You don't need me involved in it, right?
Yeah, they used to have investment clubs back in the 80s, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I have, right? It's like an investment club where I throw out what I'm doing and you can follow it and learn from it. And that would be my best advice, I think.
Do not stick your head in the sand. Right.
Yeah. I think you have to own real things. I think owning gold and silver are a no-brainer because they're not in a bubble like everything else.
Money rotates, right? I mean, money's rotating out of where it's been the last 2 years. We no longer have a lockdown. We no longer have the fangs riding up. So money is selling to the dummies right now.
Yeah, like Peloton. You remember me? I was like all over that. This company will go bust, and it was valued in the billions. I don't know what it's valued at anymore. But I was like, well, I've been in health and fitness forever. This is a gimmick. And then once it started to roll over, like, no, it's not really a biking company. We're a tech company. I'm like, no, you're an app company.
Where have you heard that before?
Yeah, you're an app company that sells $2,500 stationary bikes. When I would tell you it's better to get on a bike that's cheaper, go outside, listen to an app or something. And yeah, that money is going to evaporate. It's energy. Energy doesn't go away. It simply rotates into other things. Smart money will sell assets at high values and they move into things that are lower value. One of the best people you can follow on this is Mike Maloney, who talks about wealth cycles, who put a lot of his wealth into silver because it's not a bubble. It's the second most
an ounce. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the second most versatile commodity on the planet next to oil. And everybody's obsessed with oil, but somehow magically silver is still in the 20s, which is also a lie because you cannot buy that for less than about 40. I mean, you go on eBay right now, try to buy an individual ounce. You're looking at like 37 to 42 bucks. So it's about double. It's about double what the Telus is.
Yeah, the premiums are almost the same price as the spot price.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I've been telling people who are in Tesla who are actually buying more because they're convinced that Tesla is never going to go down. But it's kind of comical that statement you made about Peloton is exactly what they'll say about Tesla.
Sure.
And, hey, even Elon Musk is putting up his Tesla to buy other things.
Well, you know, it's interesting, and maybe other people have said this because I don't follow other traders. I really don't follow news. Most of my thoughts are my own, other than I do follow a few fund managers. Like I like Michael Pinto. I'll follow him, like Jim Rogers, excuse me, that I really like. Um, but Tesla, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Dave Kranzler, like I love Dave Kranzler, right? I had him on my channel the other day. He hates Tesla, and he goes into deep dives about how silly the financial portions are. But where I was going with that originally is I had the thought the other day when Musk wanted to buy Twitter, which I don't care that he's doing that. I know a lot of people are having like a big hissy fit about it, that he wants to like have free speech. I'm like, how do you fight that? Like, if you don't like him, don't listen to him. But does nobody ask like, hey, maybe you should just concentrate on Tesla? Like, I know in my life I can multitask, but when I multitask, I can't do everything at its highest level. So if you have this company that's supposedly going to change the world, don't you want one of the brightest dudes on the planet focus solely on that? I mean, he's doing like 10 different things. Guy's amazing, like an amazing human being, to the point I almost think he's an alien. And I mean, I'm joking. I think he's literally like our modern day Einstein. But I wouldn't want him, you know what I mean? Like doing all this stuff, it can't be good for Tesla, but maybe it is. And competition is coming for Tesla. That's the other thing I think that people constantly ignore. I mean, I remember listening to the CEO of.
Well, I think it just goes back to where you say is the people who are buying don't believe that this is the top, right? They don't believe the top, and no matter what we say, it's not going to change their mind.
Well, go back to my proxy. What did I say? And I told everybody in our group, I was like, hey guys, it's probably time to short Tesla, because my proxy here has waited from Tesla to go from $50 all the way up to 1,100. And he thought this was a great time to buy it. And he's still holding it, and he hasn't sold any. And what is his reason? Tesla will do great things in the future. And I said, you know what? I think they've already done great things. I think that they may continue to do great things, but that doesn't mean that the stock isn't overvalued by 50%. You know, Peloton may maintain their company, but I bet they take billions and billions and billion haircut off of their stock because it's not worth what a bubble economy said it was worth.
Right. Yeah. They'll be down at like the price of Nautilus.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Probably lower. Like I would rather own Nautilus equipment than Peloton. Yeah. Makes no sense to me at all.
Owning miners, right? Precious metal miners, silver and gold miners. It is definitely an exercise in how to get punched in the face. That's for sure. Because I'll tell you, it's almost like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football, where you think they're about to launch and then the whack-a-mole comes out and there it goes. And you hear people who justify it saying, well, of course that's going to happen. The DXY is at all-time records. But you're like, okay, well, the DXY is compared to the euro and the yen, not against real things, because you can see the price of food, the price of cars, the price of housing, price of everything's going up. But like you said, silver's still at half the price it was 40 years ago.
I mean, one of the major problems with the miners is they kind of trade off the COMEX spot price. So if a bunch of bankers, bullion banks, destroy the price of the COMEX or the silver spot price of the COMEX, then the likes of GDX is going to go down. Which is why I've always been an advocate of holding the real thing, and I swing trade the miners. I mean, I think I do a decent job trading the miners. I mean, my recent GDX position, I got out before that big fall, right? I mean, I got everybody in at like 31.50, if I remember, 32 area, and it screamed up to like 40. And I told you, I think if I remember correctly, I have to go back and look at my videos. I was like, look, this is probably going to like 38, 39. And it overshot a little bit, and I sold into that, and then it's getting wrecked right now. But even when it's getting wrecked, it's coming back into technical buy zones. And a lot of our markets are traded off of algorithms, which are literally just technical patterns. So yeah, it's hard, but it's because a lot of people, I think, don't understand technicals and the nature of how markets work. So, I think everybody's expecting that silver. And I think that's in the back of my mind. It's one thing that I'm thinking about that is a potential negative with it. When everybody starts saying it's going to moonshot,
when everybody starts saying something, it usually never happens.
A great example of that was the Christmas rally in the tech stocks. So even I was on board with that a little bit. I was like, because I follow cycle stuff. I'm like, look, every single year, just about we get we call a Santa Claus rally where some magical entities come in and they just buy up stocks. Right. Everyone was talking about that and it was on my mind. I was like, look, it's not, you don't usually hear CNBC talk about a Santa Claus rally where we're going to move to all-time new highs. And I heard that repeated on a lot of different YouTube channels. I was saying it myself, and I did have in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is potentially a little bit messed up. But again, the interview we did in September, I was watching for a major top to be put in place. I thought we were going to see it in the first week or two of January,
right? But
we saw it in the last week of November.
Yeah, and we never got that September-October correction like we expected. I think it happened in November instead. Yep. So everything got pushed out, and that's where you really have to be nimble. It's and realize that things change. Hey, I'll just show you this. I just got this. Oh,
you did, yeah. You talked about it, yeah. You like it?
Well, it weighs. I could do my.
Wait, why don't you tell people? People might not even know what that thing is. That's a cryptocurrency credit card.
Yeah. They've been talking about it for 2 years, and last year they said, "Hey, you want a crypto credit card?" And I said, "Yeah, where you get your rewards back in crypto."
Yeah.
But of course, it wasn't available. You could only sign up for it on the wait list.
Yeah.
Well, I finally just got this thing in the mail last month. And it works like, the nice thing about it is there's no annual fee, and you can use this anywhere in the world without any foreign transaction fees.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, and then your cash back is crypto if you're not a fan of fiat. That's great.
Right. So
what does it pay you in Bitcoin?
You can pick pick it.
What did you pick?
I picked Solana.
Okay.
Yep. But Bitcoin, Solana. The only reason I picked Solana is because I think where Solana is right now, there's more upside on it. But we'll find out. But well, I can tell you, I am I made the mistake where the last 2 weeks, and this is where I'm still trying to get better with my patience. I invest in First Majestic Silver. That's one of the miners I invest in, and it would run up to 1450 and come back, hit 1450, come back, and it just could never get over that line. And I should have taken that as, okay, this is a bad sign, and I wasn't jumping in, but I should have probably hedged myself right then and there better than I did. And obviously, it went down to below $10. Went down to $9.80 last week from $14.50 in 2 weeks. And if that ever happened on the regular consistency that it happens with the miners,
no one would invest in stocks. Yeah, imagine if Tesla did that every week. It's just I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
I think people would have a heart attack.
Yeah, here, I mean, you could take that statement, go a whole bunch of different places with it. First of all, you're talking about banging into 14. I like to speak in analogies. That's like sitting in your house. You want to blow out a wall in your house. You take a sledgehammer to it. And you find out like maybe there's a bunch of brick behind it. You're like, this is hurting my hands. This is way harder than I thought. So you take a little break. You're like, I'll come back to this in a minute. Do it again. Hands hurting. You're getting no forward momentum, right? Typically, people will do that 3 or 4 times. Then they give up. And then if there's not enough buyers in that situation, you're gonna dive. And went to just below round number of 10. And I'm sitting here saying I think a lot of the miners are in a position where they're getting closer to buy zones. So it doesn't surprise me that it went slightly below 10 because that would run a bunch of stops. And it's gonna probably drop a little bit more. Yeah.
Plus, if these miners don't show a profit, why would anybody want to invest in them? Especially now, non-profitable companies are not going to be investable. And a lot of the miners are not profitable still, even with the price of silver and gold where they are.
Yeah. And the other portion of that, what I was going to say to you is, maybe you should pick a different vehicle. If you're not a fan of miners, then you can pick something else to invest in.
Right? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a portion of what I do. And I'm coming to the conclusion that I need to really consider this thesis, because here's the other thing. if you're a business owner, you've run businesses, how would you like to run a business where, Greg, I come in and say, hey, Greg, you can't set your prices. You can't set your prices. I'm going to tell you what you can sell your products for. Who would choose to do that business?
Well, I mean, a lot of businesses do. That's where option. I mean, think about a farmer, right? I mean, he can grow corn every year, but he doesn't know what the price of corn is going to be. That's how options came into being. So you could hedge, like you're saying, your positions with options. You know, and I will say too, I'm noticing, and I'm not above this either. I'm noticing the sentiment in metals and miners get awful again. It's not as bad as it was recently, where I was like, everyone's got to buy. When silver got down to 11, and I was like, buy. And it was right before COVID. I was like, something's wrong. Please, everyone go out and buy it. And then we went up to 30. And now we're pulling back about 50% of that area. And I think we're getting close to being in a buy range again, as I'm noticing everyone's starting to hate gold and silver again. It's hard to be a gold and silver investor. I stack the stuff, I put it away, and I don't look at it. And if it never moves up in my lifetime, it will go to my children.
Yeah, and maybe that's what when trading the paper silver or the miners, maybe they have to prove themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why, I mean, I don't have any. So my long-term investments in gold and silver are the physical metal, and I swing trade miners. I don't hold miners long term. But if you talk to like a guy, I said I don't follow many people. There are a few. Rick Rule, I'm sure you're familiar with him. I think that dude's incredibly brilliant. Was like 3 years ago, he was telling everybody to buy uranium. Yeah. Do you know what he's saying right now? Have you listened to him lately?
I have not heard him, but I'd be guessing he's saying buy silver.
He's saying silver is in the exact same position as uranium was 2-3 years ago, and everybody hates it. And it's the only commodity again on the planet that has not made a new high since the 70s as the second most versatile. Makes absolutely no sense, except that we know there's shenanigans going on. And then your question, and maybe we can end it on this. Your question as an investor, if you want to own gold and silver, is do you want to own something that you know is below market value that is manipulated? And then only you can answer that for yourself. And my answer is, yeah, I'll take that every day of the week, because I believe markets eventually. I started saying traders are truth seekers, and I believe that the truth will eventually come out on gold and silver, and I don't think we're that far away from it.
Yeah, just make sure you have enough liquidity to wait. That's all.
Yeah, don't put all your money in it. If you do that, you shouldn't put all your money in anything.
No, and you were talking about a woman who took like a large sum of money and she put it all into silver instead of breaking it out, which I try not to do. I try to break it into segments so I can get it.
Yeah, that the way you're referencing there, I talked to the Patreon group about it. It's a friend of a friend who he just himself woke up about 6 to 9 months ago. He took me out for beers. He was like, "Hey, I know you're in the finance stuff. Go." And we were going to meet for like an hour, and it ended up being 3 hours. And I think I blew his mind. And he's changed his entire life, and he's getting all of his friends and family on board to the point he convinced one of his friends to go buy it. And I don't necessarily think this is a positive thing. She doesn't own a single ounce of silver, and she went from zero and then dropped 50 grand into silver. And I don't know what the price was when she bought it, probably 24, 25 ish. So she's probably slightly underwater. But again, I mean, it takes all the way back to the start. I think people are waking up. Well, and the more people that do that, the harder and harder it is for the powers to be to keep a lid on it.
Yes, indeed. And I've been playing the pot stocks, Tilray, Canopy Growth recently, and I think the downside on them is minimal. But again, I wouldn't go all in on them. And listen, I'm going to leave a link to Greg's channel, and you can contact him directly or join his Patreon. And I would be very surprised if anybody joins and does not get value from it. And please,
that's all I try. Yeah. All I try to do is add value. And I say to people all the time too, if you join for the first month, I've got about 5 hours worth of seminars on there. It's literally like my 16 years of trading in there. I've put it all into a couple hours worth of seminars. If you don't like it, you don't learn anything, send me a private message. I'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
I want people to learn.
Right. And he's got a partner in his brother who offers his perspective as well. So sometimes they're similar, sometimes they're not. They tend to be a good yin and yang. And so
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent service. Granted, for some people, $20 a month might be a lot of money, but
Can I be really honest? I was
Yeah.
going to charge 150 a month for what I think it's worth. And that's going out to multiple people, right? So I was like, look, I think what I'm teaching is worth thousands of dollars. And I was like, you know what? I really do just want people to learn. I think we're in a pivotal point in world history. I believe what's going on right now will be studied for generations.
Absolutely.
And if I can help anybody, just with my fitness background, I've always tried to help people. I help de-stress people. I talk about a lot of psychology. If I can help people de-stress and get through what I believe to be literally chaos, or is coming, I sleep better at night knowing that I can help people. If it's $20, I don't care. And look at it this way: if you can't afford $20, I mean, you got bigger problems. And the trades that I hand out, you should surpass. I'm stop talking about myself. I have people that tip me. They pay the $20 and they tip me hundreds of dollars every single month because they think the value is way north of 100. I'll just leave it on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's I can't say enough good things. That's why I try to promote you on my
Yeah.
dinky channel. But
That's whatever.
so
I appreciate you being a member. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're pretty vocal. Anyone that wants you come in and talk to Dave, and he's got good thoughts. And there's other people in there too that are pretty active. So
absolutely. I'm like you. I try to and it's a good community. It's not the type of community where people fight with each other and call each other idiots. I mean, it's a respectful group.
Yeah, I mean, we got guys from all over the world in there. Like Paul in there, he's from Canada. He's never traded before. He's sitting here going like, "Oh, I never thought you could look at markets like this." And I chime in, you chime in, other people chime in, my brother chimes in, like, and he's constantly learning. Like, I love it when people are new and want to learn. I love being around people that want to better themselves.
Well, he's already made a lot of progress.
Yeah. Yes. It's awesome. I'm a teacher at heart. When I see people grow, the response I get I'm literally having like a tingling sensation just saying that out loud. It's I appreciate it to the highest level.
Yeah, well, you and your brother, you're good people, and that's why obviously I do it for my own selfish reasons, but I could subscribe to a lot of people, but I subscribe to you guys because you're good people, and you do good work, and you do good work. So yeah. I'm excited to have Greg as my guide for this year.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
Nostradamus. Thank you.
yeah. I mean, you know what we should do, Dave? At the end of the year, we should recap my forecast and show how accurate it's been. And it's I don't know. I've been doing these forecasts for years, and sometimes it's incredibly accurate to the point. Like this year, it gets a little weird. I go like, holy cow, I can't believe it. And then there's other years it's nowhere near as accurate, but this year's hyper accurate. And I do have gold going to all-time crazy new highs starting in August. We'll throw that out there. How's that?
Yeah, and Greg also does a lot of cycle work. So I think you said May 8th, something's coming up, right?
Yeah, we just entered into a cycle today, and that had nothing to do with the Fed meeting. I honestly, when I put that together in December, I don't ever look at Fed meetings because I don't care. It's interesting that we're into a cycle and we actually have a Fed meeting. So it's possible we see a bounce here coming up soon.
Good. Hey, if I make a couple coins, I'll send a few your way.
Yeah, whatever, man. I'm happy to have you as a patron. You don't have to do that.
All right, buddy.
All right, I got to go.
Yeah, take care. I look forward to seeing what you produce tonight.
All right, dude. See you, man.
Take care. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye now.
You too. But that dude basically lived in the house, got paid $100,000 a month to live in the house, and then he's just going to peace out and move. I would do that.
A lot of people are doing that, and
yeah, why not?
Basically, thought I was insane, and
I concur.
Yeah, well, I mean, but he thought I was insane because I told him to go extend his lease. Well, he didn't listen.
He's now they're gouging him.
Well, what happened was I think it was November. I said, "Did you ever go and check out the numbers?" Like he said, "No." I said, "Well, he was going to get his mail, and the lease office is right next to where he gets his mail. So I said, just go in and ask them. So he went in. Now this was November now.
Mhm.
So like 3-4 months later.
Ah.
And he said, yeah, they said that I could extend it and it would be about 10% higher. I said, well, you should do it. And if you want to lock it in. Well, he didn't do anything. And I didn't talk to him for a couple of weeks. And I finally, I forgot about it. And it was like end of February. I said, hey, I never asked you, what did you do with the extension of the lease?
Yeah, I'm listening. Keep going.
Yeah, he said, I don't want to talk about it. I said, why don't you want to? I said, what's the big deal? He goes, it's a sore subject. I said, how can renting an apartment be a sore subject? And as it turns out, if he went month to month after his lease, they were going to double his rent.
Hilarious. So I'm literally going through that right now. Yeah, my landlord.
And if
upped
he
my
signed,
rent.
and if he signed a lease, they were going to increase it 50%.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah.
So he said, I'm not doing it out of principle.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, what else are you going to do? I don't know.
I don't know. He's talking about buying a house now
Well, I mean,
because he said it's significantly cheaper than paying rent.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about housing, but
Well,
did you have any topics or anything you want to go over, or what do you want to? Do you want to just kind of like officially start it?
yeah,
Just-
yeah. Okay. Well, let's do the intro, and then I can pick and choose and move things around.
Sure. So I got.